A long time ago, in the medieval kingdom of Serbia, there was an old man who had 2 sons. After he died, the sons stayed on the family property. They were both young and strong, handsome and good-natured, but the older one was very hard-working and the younger one was more laid-back and easygoing. Over time, the older brother ended up doing all the work on the property. There was always a lot to do. The younger son took a different way of life. He was lazing around, enjoyed watching birds that came to the gardens well maintained by his brother, full of flowers and ornamental trees, and went away for a wander while the hardest work had to be undertaken. The 2 brothers loved each other and never argued. But one day, the older brother asked the younger to divide the property. He felt he was doing all the work and the other one just enjoyed life and did not help at all. After a good and honest discussion, they agreed to go their own ways. One day, the older brother decided to visit the younger. They spoke about their life experiences, wondering how different they have been. The older brother said he would go and visit Mr. Destiny to ask him about that. Mr. Destiny lived far away. While walking over many mountains and many valleys, the older brother met a lot of people who were all intrigued with his story. Some also wanted to hear about their own destinies and pleaded with the brother to ask Mr. Destiny about it. One man said his cattle was always very thin, and regardless of how he fed and cared for them, the cows stayed thin and did not bear calves as well as they should. Another said that his parents, who lived with his family, were very old, sickly, and tired of life, but seemed not to be able to die. He felt sorry seeing them so helpless and weak, but did not know how to help them close their eyes in peace. Mr. Destiny's home was like that of a very rich king. He was sitting in a big and beautiful armchair, relaxing and enjoying his time. At the end of the day, they had a feast in the quiet and then went to bed. Just before midnight, a deep voice woke them up, saying how many babies were born on that day and that it was time for deciding on their fate. Mr. Destiny stood up, opened a huge wooden box, grabbed many handfuls of golden coins, and threw them up in the air, saying, "As I had it today, they will have it for their entire lives." In the morning, the 2 of them woke up in a house a bit humbler than the one of yesterday, but it was still a nice manor. There were servants, but this time Mr. Destiny went out and worked alongside them. At the end of the day, after a less rich dinner, they went to sleep again. Just before midnight, the same voice woke them up. This time Mr. Destiny grabbed a handful of silver coins and threw them in the air, saying, "As I had it today, they will have it for their entire lives." 6 days passed, with the glamour and richness of Mr. Destiny's property diminishing from day to day. On the 7th day, after working very hard on his little property, he went to bed almost hungry, with very little food to share with his visitor. And again, before midnight, he said, "As I had it today, they will have it for their entire lives." The next morning, Mr. Destiny's kingdom returned in all its glory. For the first time, he approached the brother, asking him what he wanted. The brother told him his story and the 2 stories that people asked along the way. Mr. Destiny said, "The man whose cattle is not thriving should think about how he shows respect to his family and to his family's saint. When celebrating his home's saint day, he always sacrifices the smallest and weakest animal, being stingy and not showing respect. He should show respect by sacrificing the biggest and best animal and watch his cattle prosper." The man whose old parents could not die should also think how he shows respect to them. Every time he has people over for dinner and at everyday meals, he and his wife wait until everyone has eaten and then toss the bones and crumbs that remained from the meal to the parents, who have to wait in the corner behind the old bread oven and eat after everyone else in the house has finished. What he must do is bath them, dress them in new and clean clothes, set them at the top of the dinner table, save them first the best wine, and offer the best pieces of meat and food they have. Once the elders have been shown respect they deserve, they will peacefully close their eyes and go to heaven. And as to his own fate and hard work, Mr. Destiny said to the older brother, "I cannot help you, my friend, as you were born on the 7th day, and your brother on the 1st. But when you decide to marry, always say that everything you have is your wife's, and your household will be buoyant and prosper forever." The brother went back and advised everyone of what Mr. Destiny said. When the villager with poor cattle sacrificed the best animal, his livestock started growing big and strong. The man whose parents couldn't die shed a tear and immediately realized how unjust and cruel his family has been to their elders. The parents died happy and feeling respected. When the brother got married, he never again said something belonged to him. He always said everything belonged to his wife, and they lived a happy and healthy, plentiful life.